Welcome back to Threes In. Bobo here. Okay. In January 1979, I found myself up at Ellsworth, South Dakota. And I didn't go up there on my own volition. I was the investigating officer of a T-38 crash from the Ace Department detachment up there. It was a Reese airplane, so they sent the pilot member from Reese up to us, a guy named Danny C. So we began the investigation, and I really kind of bonded with Danny. We both had the same mindset and so forth. I really enjoyed working with him. And over the couple, 3 weeks we were up there together, we became good friends, I would say. Anyway, toward the end of the investigation, maybe 2-3 weeks into it, we're sitting around the tavern one night, having a couple pops, and I said to Danny, what do you do normally at Reese? He says, well, I'm kind of between jobs. Okay, there's a story there. Turns out he had been in Stanival, and he had taken a student cross-country out to Vegas. Well, while they were in Vegas, he got into Vegas, and Saturday night he lost situational awareness, lost track of time. Was he drinking? Probably. Yeah, he was. Okay. It happens. You get the idea. So he shows up at the flight line at base ops on Sunday morning, and they're just going to one-hop back to Reese or something like that. I think that was the plan. And he spotted a couple of his buddies. There were 4 of them on 2-ship T3 ride, all instructors. And so he walked over and he says, I'm not really great shape to fly. He said, but I'm not sure what to do. He said, how about if I just hop on your wing and we fly back to Reese as a 3-ship? Well, these 4 guys kind of looked at each other, and they looked at Danny, and Danny's a good guy. So I said, yeah, I think that'll be okay. All right. So he tells the student, look, I'm not feeling really, really well. He says, so what I want you to do is just get on their wing, just stay on their wing, follow their commands, and they're going to drag us back to Reese. Kid says, okay, great. So they fire the airplanes up, and they do a takeoff as briefed and so forth. Well, the next thing, Danny's in the back seat, and like I said, he's not feeling really well. He's kind of hungover, and he's sitting back there like this and so forth. And he looks out, he sees the rim of a canyon going by. Oh, crap. So he's sitting there watching the canyon rim go by, and this kid up front says, hey, sir, this is really, really fun. So they're whipping through this canyon and so forth, heading back to Reese, and a couple other things along the way, but you get the idea. So they get back to Reese, and when they come into Reese, they are in fingertip formation. So you got lead on one wing and then 2 and 3 on opposite wings. Well, they line up at whatever the pattern altitude was, only they're going perpendicular to the runway. All right, I get my training aid here. Paid a lot of money for this. Probably, $6? So anyway, they come in like this, perpendicular to the runway. You got one guy on this wing, one guy on this wing. As they hit the runway, lead pulls up into they're doing about 450 or something like that. Lead pulls up into a nice climb, 4Gs, 5Gs, whatever it is. And then he does a roll like this over the top. And as they come down, level off at traffic pattern altitude. He kicks the other guy off to the other side for an echelon formation so they can pitch out to a landing. Well, they pitch out, come in and land, taxi into parking. About that time, all the heavies, the wing commander, the DO, the squadron commander, and whoever else was out there, they'd had time to get the calls. Of course, they all live on base at that time. And so they're all coming out the flight line to meet these guys. And Danny's sitting there. He remembers, he said, pulling up into the cloverleaf type maneuver, going, what the hell are we doing now? Anyway, so he goes, oh God, there goes my career. Well, he wasn't far off. So he came over, they came over the top, hit initial in echelon, pitched out, and landed. Well, as it turns out, the guy leading the gaggle was getting out of the Air Force that week. This was his last flight. It would have been anyway. And he just wanted to kind of go out in a blaze of glory, if you will. And he dragged along 3 of his friends. I don't know if the other 3 IPs knew what he was planning on doing. Of course, the student did, and Danny sure as hell did. Anyway, they all come up, lined up, and the guy that led the gaggle, he could have cared less. There wasn't anything they were going to do to him. But for the other 4 guys, the other 3 guys in the 2 ship, and then Danny, they kind of got whacked a little bit. Danny lost his job in Stanaval. Student, they didn't touch. They just said, listen, they scared the crap out of him to where he wouldn't do anything like that, or so they thought. Don't know what happened to the 3 guys that were in the 2 ship. One guy got out of the Air Force, and they were glad to have him gone, I think. But Danny got relieved of his position in Stanaval. He came up to us on that accident investigation, did a great job, and got kudos from the accident board president. I stayed in contact with him long enough to know that his career was resurrected, and he went on to have a good career from Reese. But beyond that, I don't know where he went or wherever it happened to him. But sure as hell made for a great story. I've been in that situation myself a couple times. It's not comfortable, but I can just imagine what it must have been like to kind of be sitting there kind of in a stupor and then look out and all of a sudden realize you're coming up the backside of a cloverleaf maneuver. Oh, Jesus, what next? At any rate, as they say on some of those talent shows, don't do that at home or at your home base, or you just don't do it. This is base gear. Stop. Good Lord.